Hi, my name is Emmy Andrade, and today I'll be talking about the Zika virus. The Zika virus is a mosquito borne virus and it belongs to the family of Flaviridae and the Flavirus genus. This virus is associated mainly with birth defects. It was first identified in the Zika forest in Uganda in 1947 in monkeys. Human cases of this virus were later reported in various countries such as Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. The virus gained a significant attention during the years of 2014 and 2016 as a large outbreak occurred in North and South America. Currently, there's no active outbreak in the United States, but there has been some outbreaks in around other parts of the world such as Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, and parts of Asia. Now let's talk about the Zika virus structure. The outer surface of the virus is covered by a lipid envelope. Embedded in this envelope, they are viral glycoproteins, including the E protein. This protein is involved in the virus entry into host cells. Inside the envelope, the virus has a protein shell called the icosahedral nuclear capsid, in which is responsible to protect the viral RNA. The genetic material of the Zika virus is composed of a single-stranded positive sense RNA molecule. This RNA carries the information necessary for the virus to replicate and produce a new viral particles. The Zika virus, like other flavirus viruses, encodes non-structural proteins in which they play essential roles in viral replication. Now, I'm going to talk about the transmission. Zika virus is also known to be an arbovirus, which means that a group of viruses that are transmitted by mosquitoes, ticks, or other arthropods. Mainly, the Zika virus is primarily transmitted to people through the bite of an infected Aedes species of mosquito. Once the person is infected, it can also transmit this virus through sexual transmission, maternal, fetal, and blood transfusion. Zika virus replication. The first step in the replication process is the attachment of the Zika virus to host cells. This typically happens when the viral envelope glycoproteins interacts with specific receptors on the surface of the host cells. Once it's attached, the virus is taken up into the host cells through receptor-mediated endocytosis. After this, after the virus is internalized into the host cell, the acidic environment of the endosomes triggers a confrontational change in the viral envelope. This changes allows the release of viral RNA genome into the cytoplasm of the host cells. Once in the cytoplasm, the viral RNA serves as a template for translation of a single polyprotein. This protein is cleaved by both viral and host proteases to generate individual viral proteins, including the structural proteins such as the capsid and the envelope and non-structural proteins. Then, the viral RNA genome serves as another template for the replication process. This involves non-structural proteins in the formation of the replication complexes, which facilitates the synthesis of a new RNA genome. The newly synthesized structural proteins and the RNA genomes are then assembled into a new viral particle in the endoplasmic reticulum and in the Golgi apparatus of the host cell. Once this is assembled, viral particles are transported to the cell surface into vesicles and released from the host cells through the exocytosis. The released virus can then go on to infect other cells and repeat the replication cycle. The incubation period. Incubation period from the time of exposure to symptoms of the Zika virus is still not clear, but some studies have shown to likely be a few days. These studies have shown this by the collection of data of each individual with the virus who had different routes of transmission. So now let's talk about the Zika virus pathogenesis. I'm going to start first with the entry and spreading. So the Zika virus is primarily transmitted to humans through the bite of an infected Aedes mosquito, which makes this the primary vector. The virus initially infects skin cells at the site of the mosquito bite. Once after entering the skin cells, the virus will enter the bloodstream and spread throughout the whole body. Now, let's talk about the cellular tropism. In the neurotropism, Zika virus has a particular affinity for cells of the nervous system, including neural progenitor cells. The other cell types that it affects are the immune and placenta cells. The next step is the immune response. Innate immune response will start with interferon response. Upon infection with the Zika virus, host cells will recognize the viral RNA and initiate an early response by producing interferons. These interferons will signal neighboring cells for them to enter into an antiviral state and inhibit viral replication. Then, the natural killer cells will play a role in early defense against the Zika virus, in which they kill infected cells and produce cytokine. This will contribute to the antiviral immune response. Also, the macrophages are immune cells that can phagocyte by engulfing the Zika virus particles. This process helps to eliminate the virus and activate the adaptive immune response. Once the adaptive immune response is activated, B cells are activated to produce antibodies which are specific to Zika virus antigens. These antibodies can neutralize the virus and prevent them from infecting other cells. Then, when T cells are activated, the CD4 or plus T cells assist B cells in antibody production and contribute to the regulation of the immune response. Then, the CD8 plus T cells are cytotoxic, which then can directly kill cells infected with Zika virus, in which it will limit the viral spread. The Zika virus symptoms. The Zika virus infection often presents with mild flu-like symptoms, in which it includes a fever, rash, joint and muscle pain, conjunctivitis, which is redness in the eye, headache, fatigue, abdominal pain, diarrhea, or vomiting. In some cases, some patients have presented with the virus, but they have been asymptomatic. If a pregnant woman is infected with Zika virus, it can lead for the fetal to have neurological defects. When the Zika virus crosses the placenta and infects the fetal neural tissue, it leads to congenital Zika syndrome. This means that babies who have been infected with Zika before birth, they can have their eyes being damaged or part of the brain that is responsible for the vision, and it affects their visual developments. Also, babies who are infected with Zika before birth can be born with microcephaly, which is an abnormally small head and brain, and it has been linked to have problems such as seizures, developmental delay, and some problems with speech and other development milestones such as sitting, standing, or walking. Also, the Zika virus, as it targets the peripheral nerves, it has been linked to lead to people having the Guillain-Barré syndrome. So how do we diagnose Zika virus? The Zika virus can be diagnosed by different clinical evaluations, such as reviewing the symptoms and ruling out other mosquito-borne infections. Also, the doctor will like to review their travel history, where it might be a potential exposure in regions with active Zika virus transmission. Laboratory testing will also be performed, such as the PCR test and serological testing, which is done through blood tests. The treatment and prevention. So for treatment for the Zika virus infection, there's only supportive care available. There's currently no antiviral treatment, and only over-the-counter medication will be available for patients who are experiencing pain. Rest and drink a lot of fluids is recommended. For prevention, it's recommended to avoid areas with high active infections to avoid mosquito bites, as well as to use physical barriers such as insect repellent, window screens, and mosquito nets. It's also recommended to eliminate standing water areas, as is a breeding site for mosquitoes. Currently, there's no vaccine available in the market, but there is current research for the designing vaccine against Zika virus. Do you have any questions?